From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. A new report reveals that U.S. taxpayers have spent at least $22.76 billion over the past year on military aid to Israel and related Middle East operations. The report, drafted by Brown University's Costs of War project, includes $17.9 billion for Israel's military actions since October 7th last year. This marks the highest annual U.S. military aid to Israel since 1959. The report highlights U.S. operations in Yemen aimed at protecting maritime interests, also added more than $2 billion to the total cost. U.S. aid to Israel continues even as Israel faces charges of genocide at the International Court of Justice, and Gaza suffers massive displacement and food insecurity. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry and international agencies, Israel's year-long war on Gaza has left at least 149,000 Palestinians dead, maimed, or missing. Hundreds of Free-Palestine demonstrators gathered at Low Plaza Columbia University commemorating the anniversary of Israel's war on Gaza. Organized by the groups Columbia University Apartheid Divest and Within Our Lifetime, the protest called for action against Israel's ongoing violence in Gaza. Protesters read aloud the names of thousands of Palestinians killed since October 7th last year, holding banners with messages such as Free Gaza and Honor all martyrs. Meanwhile, pro-Israel demonstrators held a counter-protest displaying Israeli and American flags and pictures of Israeli hostages taken last year. Columbia University increased security measures and restricted campus access during both rallies. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump marked the anniversary of the October 7th attacks, urging Israel to get smart about Trump during an appearance on The Hugh Hewitt Show. He claimed that he has done more for Israel and Jewish people than any other leader, expressing frustration over a lack of support from American Jews. His comments come just days after he warned Jewish people in the United States that they would be held responsible if he loses the November election, sparking backlash. Trump commemorated the day by visiting the grave of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson in New York before holding an event in Miami. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris reaffirmed their unwavering support for Israel while condemning the rise in anti-Semitism. Harris also called for a ceasefire to alleviate the suffering in Gaza, where Israel's war has killed over 41,000 Palestinians, with one estimate in the British medical journal The Lancet noting that the death toll may be as high as 186,000. Israel has been accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice for its assault and violence on Gaza since last October. On the anniversary of Israel's war on Gaza, Israeli airstrikes and artillery fire killed 42 Palestinians on Monday. The attacks targeted various areas, with 3 people killed and 6 injured in an airstrike on the Outrage refugee camp in central Gaza. In Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, Israeli shelling killed a Palestinian girl. In an airstrike on a home in Rafah city, Israel killed 8 civilians, including women and children. Northern Gaza experienced intense bombardment. 2 were killed near Gaza City, 4 in Beit Lahia, and 13 more in the Abu Qamar area of Jabalia, with 1 woman shot by an Israeli drone. Despite international calls for a ceasefire, including a UN Security Council resolution, Israel has continued its war on Gaza. Israel has killed over 41,000 Palestinians and injured more than 96,000. However, a report by experts in the British medical journal The Lancet estimated that approximately 186,000 Palestinians have been killed. The ongoing strikes have also devastated Gaza's infrastructure and left residents in fear as the violence escalates. Israel killed 19-year-old Palestinian journalist Hassan Hamad in a drone strike in Gaza. His remains were found after the attack, sparking global condemnation from journalists and organizations like Reporters Without Borders. He was killed after he received multiple threats from Israeli authorities on WhatsApp and in calls to stop filming the destruction caused by Israel's ongoing war. However, he continued to report. Hamad, who contributed to Al Jazeera, was targeted in the Jabalia refugee camp. Palestinian journalist Maha Husseini posted a photo of one threatening WhatsApp message sent to Hamad. It read, "Listen, if you continue spreading lies about Israel, we'll come for you next and turn your family into... This is your last warning." The Palestinian government media office says that 175 media workers have been killed in Gaza over the past year. Reporters Without Borders has filed multiple complaints at the International Criminal Court. Responding to Hamad's killing, it says Israel's impunity must end.
It's mixed feelings. You can't really express. There's a sense of delight in the fact that people are still coming out. People have not gotten tired, but also the fuel. What fuels them coming out is genocide, which is the ugliest thing that anybody can imagine. But fortunately or unfortunately, due to Israel, nobody has to imagine it because we've been witnessing it for an entire year straight.
I like to see that more people are supporting and really looking at the media instead of just the news. They see what's really going on and opening up their eyes to these innocent children and women that have been dying, even though they have done nothing.
And since I'm from the United States, I feel complicit. And we don't know what to do to get our government to stop financing this genocide, which, let's call it what it is, apartheid.
Indian poet rejects USAID award in solidarity with Palestine. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. An Indian poet has refused an award backed by USAID, citing solidarity with Palestine. Jacinta Kerkera's children's poetry collection, Jirhul, was selected for the Room to Read Young Author Award, which is supported by the U.S.-funded organization. However, she declined the honor, condemning USAID's involvement due to its ties with the U.S., which has consistently supported Israel. Kerkera highlighted the ongoing violence in Gaza, where Israel has killed thousands of children in its year-long war. She expressed her commitment to standing with the victims of Palestine, emphasizing the failure of adults to secure a safer world for children. During Israel's year-long war in Palestine, the UK has experienced an unprecedented rise in anti-Muslim hatred, according to a report by British NGO Tell Mama. Between October 2023 and September 2024, 4,971 Islamophobic incidents were recorded, with 63% involving abusive behavior and 27% threatening actions. Tell Mama's director Iman Atta highlighted the growing hostility faced by Middle Eastern communities, especially Muslim women, in the form of verbal abuse and threats. Major urban centers like London and the Midlands saw the most cases. The surge in hate crimes has raised concerns about safety and community cohesion in the UK, as rising far-right violence threatens Muslim communities' rights and well-being. The report urges urgent action from authorities and media to combat harmful stereotypes and address these risks. A new poll reveals that 73% of American voters are concerned about potential political violence, fearing that some may not accept the November 5th election results. The Civil Rights Monitor poll shows that 81% of voters believe democracy is under threat, with liberals at 92% expressing the most concern. The poll highlights key issues for voters, including inflation, immigration, and protecting democracy. Additionally, 93% of respondents are highly motivated to vote, underscoring the intense atmosphere surrounding this year's contest between Vice President Kamala Harris and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. 86% of respondents also agree that Americans are sacrificing too much of their privacy for big tech. 79% say diversity makes the country stronger, and 77% say the government must do more to protect the civil and human rights of communities of color. The poll was conducted by the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has ignited controversy after suggesting illegal immigrants are bringing what he called bad genes into the U.S. In an interview with conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, Trump claimed 13,000 convicted murderers have entered the country illegally. Trump's comments were met with sharp criticism from White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who called his remarks hateful and disgusting. She linked the rhetoric to previous inflammatory statements made by Trump regarding immigrants, emphasizing that such language has no place in America. Jean-Pierre reiterated the Biden administration stance, saying President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris remain committed to rejecting divisive language and fostering unity among communities. California and New York are leading a number of other states in lawsuits suing TikTok. This is for the company allegedly duping the public about the safety of the app, claiming it was deliberately designed to keep young people hooked on the service. The lawsuits were filed separately in 13 states, as well as the District of Columbia. They say TikTok violated consumer protection laws and contributed to a teen mental health crisis. The lawsuits are also asking courts to impose financial penalties on the company. The lawsuit says the platform failed to provide parental control tools, verify guardians, and protect minors' personal data. In the U.S., 170 million people use TikTok. TikTok's U.S. revenue reached $16 billion in 2023. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.